The second of the five good emperors was Trajan. Trajan was a general and a governor from Spain before he became emperor. He was actually from Spain, making him the first emperor to be born in a province or outside the area of Italy. Trajan was known as a militaristic emperor and a philanthropic emperor, meaning he expanded the Roman Empire a lot and he also helped the poor. Trajan increased the amount of poor people who received free grain to minimize the amount of starving peasants. Usually, when a new emperor took power, he would receive money as gifts from governors and other officials from around the empire. But Trajan refused all the money gifts and insisted that instead of going to him, that the money be used to help the local area they came from. He also lowered taxes and even put public money into a charity for poor children. This was also to decrease the amount of families with children who struggled to pay for food to eat. Because of his militaristic background, Trajan was called a soldier emperor, and it was under him that Rome attained its maximum territory extent. The Roman Empire grew as big as it was ever going to get. You can see here in this map how big Rome grew under Trajan. To put that in perspective for you, the Roman Empire at its peak was roughly the size of the United States, as you can see sort of here. Keep in mind the area here in the middle is actually water. It's the outer edges here that are land. Besides expanding the Roman territory, Trajan is most remembered for his public works, not only in the area of Italy, but in the provinces as well. Being from the provinces, Trajan knew what areas needed and sought to give it to them. Trajan constructed a lot of roads. He also built a lot of aqueducts, and he built some more harbors, as you can see here, an example. He also built bridges and reclaimed wasteland, meaning he turned land that was not good for living or farming into habitable land that could be farmed. Another notable feature from Trajan's rule was that he ended persecution against the Christians, or at least he did temporarily. Governors and provinces around Rome asked Trajan how he wanted them to deal with the rising number of Christians as more and more people converted. Trajan replied that as long as they weren't creating a hubbub or defying Roman law, that they could be allowed to live without being heckled or persecuted. Unfortunately for the Christians, Trajan's religious tolerance did not last until the end of the Roman Empire, and we'll later learn about another emperor who did not share Trajan's tolerant view, particularly Diocletian, who was actually most notable for his persecution against the Christians. But Trajan was pretty well liked by everyone, and the Senate actually declared him Optimus Princeps, which translates as basically the best ruler in English. Interestingly, there's actually some debate over Trajan's successor, Hadrian. Some say that Trajan officially adopted Hadrian as his son before his death and declared him to be the next emperor. While blood relation no longer mattered for succession as emperor, it became sort of customary for the emperor to adopt the person he chose to succeed him as his son to make it clear to the public who it was that was going to be the next successor. Shortly before his death, they say, Nerva also adopted Trajan. However, some claim that Trajan died too suddenly from a stroke to ever make the news official. Instead, Trajan's wife apparently hired someone to sit behind a curtain and impersonate her sick husband. He spoke in a very sickly old man voice. And in this old man voice, the person apparently told a small gathering of officials that his successor would be Hadrian. Just a few days later, Trajan's wife apparently announced her husband's death, and Hadrian was declared the next emperor. Regardless which version you believe, Hadrian did indeed become the third emperor of the Roman Empire, of the five good emperors.